So I have an update for everyone. I know it's been a few days, maybe a week for some of you guys, but I do have an update on the Porsche. Initially, like I said, the shop couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with the car. They went through the exact same process as I did, so they couldn't figure it out. Now we gotta go pick up the car and I'll talk to you about it on the way. I would normally grab this guy or his dad and put him in a little pouch, my little messenger bag, and take him with me, except it's already like 90 some degrees outside and today's supposed to be 100. So I don't want to put him in there and he's gonna get stressed and he'll be hot. Are you begging? Are you begging to go? So I'm leaving my house on my electric skateboard. Ooh, it's super windy today. So if I go that way, stop here for a second. If I go that way, there's a train station. Downtown's that way. If I go that way, there's also a train station. Both train stations are equal distance from my house. The difference is the one that's going a mile further away from downtown is the route there is straight and flat-ish versus I should be going that way. That's towards downtown. It's closer, but it starts getting really hilly and really curvy, which is great when you want to just go for a ride, but when you just want to take it easy and just get to the train, this way is easier. So that's the Max train that I'm going to catch, but I got to go down here a mile. There's a pedestrian bridge that goes over the highway, and then there's train stations right there. So that's what we're going to do. sitting in front of Matrix. We're back in the car. Let's talk about everything. First start, post maintenance. That was smooth. That was very smooth. So it shifted smooth. It did not do this little surge thing. Now, I gotta go slow here because I'm driving through these buildings. There's people crossing, dogs crossing the street with their owners, not by themselves. Well, so far I can tell you, it seems a lot better. It seems good, actually. Foot off the throttle, no hesitation, engine's cold. It shifted up and down smooth so far. But this has only been the first few minutes. When I drove it here to Matrix that day, it did the little hesitation, little surge after a few minutes, and then got a little bit worse as I got closer. So we're gonna drive similar route on the way home and see does it do it on the way home. They said they fixed it. I believe they fixed it. We just need to confirm. You know, there's an old saying, trust but verify. So that's what we're doing. They did the same thing to me. All the troubleshooting I did, they believed I did it, but they had to verify it before they could continue troubleshooting. I wanted to step on the gas really good right now, but I can't because there's a guy on a bicycle in the road. He's not using the bike lane, he's using the road for whatever reason. But I can tell you I shifted, it's not surging like it was before, but I'm going very slow, so it's hard to tell. Usually when I was doing the surging, I was going a little bit faster than this. It's shifting really good. No issues. It's not surging, it's not doing anything. I guess I'm so used to it acting up, I'm almost like anticipating it messing up. When I would start the car in the morning, if you guys remember, during the cold start, it would start up fine, the RPMs would go up like they're supposed to, but then as they were coming down, they would bounce around before they would settle. And then they would settle and everything was good. The RPMs would idle perfectly after that. And then I'd drive off and it would be driving normal, but as soon as I took my foot off the throttle, issue number 2, off throttle hesitation. Only off throttle. I'd take my foot off the throttle and it would hesitate, jerk a little bit. I have the service manual. The service manual says for jerking or hesitation, replace the mass airflow sensor. It says it clearly in the Porsche service manual. And the third issue, before I tell you my step, the third issue was the check engine light and said it was running too rich. So I changed the mass airflow sensor. There was a slight improvement, but it didn't improve. I still had a check engine light. I still had it running too rich. Good morning. Good morning, doggies. So the one thing we couldn't do yesterday was the cold start. So we're gonna do a cold start right now and verify the car is good. I got some more info. When I was driving the car yesterday, there's something I didn't like. I changed one thing. Absolutely in love with the car again. I'm gonna tell you what that is. All right, zoomed out here. Yes, I am in my PJs because it's morning. First start of the day, cold start. Let's see, is the cold start completely fixed? Should be. Well, that was unexpected. Didn't really do a cold start. But the idle's perfect. That's not a cold start, that's a normal start. Huh. So, I drove this car yesterday, 4, 5 o'clock or whatever. It's been off for over 12 hours, longer than 12 hours. It was hot yesterday, got over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 40s Celsius. It was very hot. So, but the car was in the garage and has cooled down, so I expected it to do a cold start. It did not do a cold start. So I guess I have to do a cold start again tomorrow. I will say though, the idle is good. It's perfect. Just got home. I don't look the same and I have different clothes because it's not the same day. Actually went to drive the car some more. I wanted to be sure that everything was good to go. So let me feed the dogs real quick because it's time for them to eat. And then we're gonna sit down and we'll talk about everything about the car and why I think it's 99% fixed and not 100% fixed. All right, everybody down? Down, I'm cheating, no cheating. Good job. Stay. Good boy. Good job, Blondie. Go. All right, while they're busy, let's go have a talk. All right, so this is the first time I've sat in the chair like this in front of the car. Looks like the car wants to eat me. Let's recap everything. So we had 3 issues, and I've had these issues for the last few months. So one was when you first turn on the car in the morning, or when the engine was cold, and the idle, it would rev up and cold start, and then as the idles would come down, they'd kind of bounce and go down and up and down and up and down and up until it would then settle. It took about 30 seconds. And then it would settle and it'd be idle fine. Then the second issue was, as soon as you took your foot off the throttle, it would hesitate and kind of start jerking at low RPM. Higher RPM seemed to be better. Then the third thing I finally got, and I didn't get this till the very end, was the check engine light. I never had a check engine light for these issues before. And at the end I got the running too rich, left bank 1, bank 2, too rich is what I got. So let's go down what I did before I threw in the towel. So what I did before I threw in the towel was I looked at the service manual, and the service manual says, you know, if you have a jerking issue, check your mass airflow sensor or change your mass airflow sensor. So I did that. I changed the mass airflow sensor. In that process, when I changed it, I also noticed, I was just visually inspecting the throttle body, and I noticed there was a little bit of play in the butterfly. I replaced the throttle body. That was a waste of money. There was absolutely nothing wrong with my throttle body. Because the new throttle body, although it was tighter at the beginning, now that it's kind of worn in a little bit, has the exact same play. So that was a total waste of money. By the way, if someone needs a throttle body, hit me up. I got one. I got a spare one. I talked to a Porsche mechanic at the Porsche Day Cars and Coffee, and he asked me about had I changed the coil packs. And I said, no, this generation doesn't suffer coil pack issues like the previous generations, but I did change the plugs. And he said, you might want to consider changing that. And this was to troubleshoot the hesitation. So, okay, sure. I changed the coil packs, and since I was already gonna get to the coil packs, you gotta take the side mufflers off, I went ahead and changed the plugs again, give them another year on life. And the plugs I pulled out looked perfectly fine. Installed new plugs, new coil packs, no change. After I did all that and I had no change, I was looking on my scanner, and I could see the fuel trims were running rich, but other than that, I didn't see any. Still, at this point, I didn't have a check engine light. So I would just keep driving the car, but I could tell something was off. And then I finally got the check engine light. And so I plugged in my scanner, and which I showed you guys in previous videos, and I looked at the fuel percentages, and it was too rich. And so I thought about it. The one thing I had changed or messed with, but never changed, was the O2 sensors. I had removed the O2 sensors numerous times on this car. The times I did it, I didn't unplug it from its connector. I just took it and spun it around and twisted it, and I just assumed that maybe I had damaged them. Installed new O2 sensors, the pre-cat O2 sensors, and actually did improve the fuel trim. So they did do something, but long story short, the old ones weren't bad either. So throttle body and O2 sensors were not bad. They didn't need to be replaced. I did the smoke tests, looked for vacuum leaks. I found no vacuum leaks. Just scratching my head, I didn't know what to change on this car or what else to look at. So that's why I threw in the towel. So when I took it to Matrix, they believed everything I told them, but they had to verify it themselves. And they found no leaks. They did a vacuum test. They actually did the pressure test on the intake manifold and the runners. Nothing's leaking. Everything was good, which was a positive. Except that now, that's where my previous video was, like, they don't know, they couldn't figure it out. So they ordered a new mass airflow sensor, and I said, well, I already replaced that thing like 2 weeks ago. They said, they know, but they said they needed to start from a baseline. So they removed my K&N filters and put in brand new air filters and a brand new mass airflow sensor. They were just trying to have a starting good baseline to then troubleshoot from. And so something like a K&N filter or an aftermarket component is a variable, and you want to remove those variables when you're troubleshooting. So that's what they did, and that was the purpose of doing it. So they had brand new clean air filters,
and they installed the mass airflow sensor. You know what happened? Their mass airflow sensor failed also. Actually, theirs failed and had more fault codes than the one I installed. But the common thing was the one I installed and the one they installed was both Bremmy, was the brand, and it's actually listed as the OEM part for this car. Then I told them, you know, the car originally had a Bosch part on there, and they said they were going to order a new Bosch one also, because I had put the Bosch back in and it made no change, made no difference. So there's no point in putting that one back in. So they ordered another mass airflow sensor. This time Bosch, the Bosch airflow sensor fixed it. Mass airflow sensor fixed it. Who the hell would have thought that? So I installed one, didn't work. They installed one, didn't work. So they installed a third one. So the third one worked. The other thing that they did not reinstall was my Can-Am filters, which for now, I'm not going to reinstall these. For now, I'm just going to leave the car as is with the paper filters. I want to drive it around for a while, make sure it's all 100% good. I don't want to add a variable to go backwards or do something else. If something else breaks on the car now, it breaks from this point where we know the car is good. It's not going to break because I changed something. So we don't want to do that. Other than that, the car runs and drives well. There's one more thing. I'll save that for the end. So the car, I said the car is 99% fixed, not 100. And that 100 is nothing to do with what the troubleshooting. They fixed all my issues. All the issues I had before are gone. They've been remedied. The 1% issue that I have, and I don't think it has anything to do with what they did, is I still feel like occasionally there's a little bit of a fight between the PDK and the PDK's transmission control unit and the car's ECU. Sometimes I feel like the clutch wants to come in or gets pulled when it shouldn't. I don't think that it's probably okay, it's probably normal because this is a Generation 1 PDK car. This isn't the later, nicer ones. But that's why I don't give it 100%. Now, put it in drive and drive it around like an automatic car, it's perfectly fine. Occasionally, it'll clunk on downshift, only on downshift, low RPM. Upshifts are always super, super silky smooth. In manual mode, even more fun. Same thing. Upshifts are perfectly smooth. Downshifts, occasionally, it'll clunk, usually second and third gear. I never downshift to first gear. The only time it goes to the first gear is on its own when it comes to a full stop. Besides that, the car is perfect. Now, the one more thing that I found after all this has been fixed, and I've been driving the car now for a few days, I found one more thing, and I fixed it, and it made a big difference. And it has to do with the transmission mount bolt. If you wanted to find out about that, you're gonna have to watch it on the next video. I'm not gonna tell you now. Thanks for watching. I'm glad the car is back. I'm glad we can drive again like normal, and I can go now. I feel comfortable driving the car a little bit further. I've driven it 3 days now, just city driving, running errands, going back and forth. I think this weekend we'll stretch its legs and we'll take it a little bit further, and so we can get our confidence back in knowing that we can drive this car across country again like we used to do it in the past. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and look out for the next video where I will tell you exactly what's up with the transmission. Catch you later.